Look, I got this idea to wear that hat so I wouldn't have to have lunch with Phil Rosenthal, and it worked like a charm. He saw me in the hat and he left the restaurant. It was amazing. And
I'm not surprised.
you know what? It's really coming in handy.
Yeah, because no one's going to want to be anywhere near you.
Exactly. It's a great people repellent.
Well, folks, if you're like me, you probably just can't get enough of people ripping the living shit out of Donald Trump. Donald Trump he's human excrement. He's an awful, disgusting, cruel human being, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But I am telling you something you don't know now, which is, or you may not know, Larry David, who's hilarious, and I will always love Larry David for creating the George Costanza character on Seinfeld, which I always felt like, to me, he was always my favorite.
51 people died.
51 people? That's it? I thought it was like 1,000.
1,660 survivors.
That's no tragedy. How many people do you lose on a normal cruise? 30, 40?
That's the character who embodied all of the worst traits in a man. All the worst male traits, which means I have a lot of them. In any case, Larry David, and of course Curb Your Enthusiasm's funny as hell, ripped Trump a new one while speaking to Chris Wallace on CNN. And I'm not going to tell you what he said because you got to watch it for yourself, because he does it in this way where he's so cutting and just so passionate, but also so freaking funny at the same time. So why don't we watch?
So how much has the whole 2020 election and everything that has flowed from it pissed you off?
Oh, I mean, you can't go a day without thinking about what he's done to this country, because he's such a little baby that he's thrown 250 years of democracy out the window by not accepting the results of an. I mean, it's so crazy. He's such a sociopath. He's so insane. He just couldn't admit to losing. And we know he lost. He knows he lost. And look how he's fooled everybody. He's convinced all these people that he didn't lose. He's such a sick man. He's so sick. Anyway, no, it hasn't impacted me at all.
I mean, that ending, right? No, I don't have much against him, or, I mean, chef's kiss, right? We've seen Robert De Niro, we've seen other celebrities who feel passionately about this. Obviously, Democrats now are ripping the living crap out of Trump every day. And what I really think I enjoyed the most about it is Donald Trump will see it, because he claims he doesn't care about this stuff, but he obsesses over it. Just like when he was a poor little boy in Queens, as in a rich boy of a dad who was a slumlord, and wanted to be in Manhattan because he wanted to be around all the important people. And when people that are important, Hollywood and others, rip him, it goes to that husk where most people have a soul. You know, the part where most people are confident in themselves, so they don't have to put up truths, as they call them, which is ironic, on Truth Social, saying things like, I won my own golf tournament. I won 2 trophies. I was able to win the trophies over people. I totally didn't cheat, even though a Sports Illustrated reporter wrote a story about how I cheat all the time. I'm really important. I'm awesome. Yes, you can see that truth, or whatever it's called, and you can see he put that up because that is how empty he is. He has to brag about winning golf tournaments at his own club that he cheats in.
That's right, woke libs. You think Donald Trump's a loser? Well, would a loser brag about winning a golf tournament at his own course? I don't think so. Although obviously Trump has an advantage playing golf. It's difficult for his opponents to stay focused when they spend all that time staring at that ass. Come on.
So obviously Larry David ripping him it cuts him, right? The same way when De Niro ripped him, he had to try to insult De Niro back, which was sort of hilarious. A loser, hasn't done anything important, just one of the best actors of all time. And anybody else in any sort of spotlight. Like, can you imagine that he had to go running to New York to crash a wake of a New York police officer who was killed and try to politicize it and make it about him, which he did, because he couldn't stand that Joe Biden was going to New York to be with Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, 2 former Democratic presidents, and not rock stars or anything, and all sorts of celebrities, right? Jason Bateman was there, and Arnett was there, and like a whole list of A-list celebs were there for this. But well, who's Trump going to get to cover his stuff? He's like, Kid Rock and like maybe, I don't know, Dennis Rodman and a bag of meth? Or is that Steve Bannon? Interchangeable. Point being, he ran to New York because that's where they were. And Biden was with the celebs raising $26 million. Donald Trump was there pretending he cares about officers after January 6th, when over 140 officers, because of what Trump encouraged his followers to do, were stabbed, beaten, kicked, spat upon, crushed indoors. One, Brian Sicknick, ended up having strokes and dying, or heart attacks. A few others took their own lives because they were so traumatized. And Trump never went to any of their funerals or any of their wakes because he couldn't care less about anybody but himself. But Republicans, the right-wing media, grabbed it and tried to pretend. But that's where he was, pretending he cared about this officer in New York, and not with any of the celebrities. I mean, where was Scott Baio, Ted Nugent, the big stars? In any case, Larry David kicked Donald Trump's ass, and it was a beautiful thing to see. And keep him on the defensive. It's psychological warfare. As long as rock stars, actors, Democrats in office, anybody who's at all famous with a mic in front of them keeps ripping the shit out of Trump, he will be off balance, losing his mind, and bragging about his golf trophies.